Going to do some beer garden stuff this weekend, which I'm excited about. You got it good?
The screen, somebody had a sign. It was like a picture they'd drawn the Amazon search bar, wrote Amazon above it. In the search bar, they wrote offense. I don't know how he had I guess he was expecting this because I doubt he drew that during the game. Do you think
the other side might have had defense on it? And you just kind of go with whatever makes the most sense.
He came with a blank search bar and wrote in whatever he was going to be mad about that day.
Yeah. Plenty to be mad about if you're a Saints fan.
Yeah, there's been some openings. I believe the entire NFC South lost last week.
Yes, that's true. There's going to be a winner this week, though, or a tie.
There will be a winner or a tie, I guess, because we do have the Falcons and the Bucks going at it.
And the Panthers are on bye, so they can't take another loss.
Literally, and not a big part of the equation, I don't think, even though I did bet some. I told you that. I bet Bryce at 80-1 to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
It's too early in the year for somebody to be.
It's a big number.
It's too early in the year for somebody to be big minus money, I think. Especially when you have a guy, either Thomas Brown matters or he doesn't. And if he doesn't, dead.
Yeah. I mean, if they hadn't made the switch, I think Panthers would probably be dogs to the bye this week, the way that they had been coordinated to this point in the season. But yeah, let's talk about this game.
Fun one from Patrick, quick.
Ooh.
Rank the coaches in the NFC South.
Begrudgingly, Art Smith. Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles can manage a good defense.
Frank and Dennis Allen tied for last.
It's Dennis Allen is last, probably for sure. Just not really putting the.
I mean, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment because right now, Doug Peterson's pulling his pants down. Right, like if it wasn't for two weird, kind of untimely fumbles, this would be an absolute runaway of a game.
Yeah, it's like these teams that we're talking about who are having problems with their wide receiver rooms. It's like, hey, they have 6 wide receiver 3s. This is what we have in this division. It's like you have a bunch of wide receiver 3s. There is no good answer. There's a decent case to put.
You have a bunch of worst coaches in your division, but they're all in this division.
they're all in the same division. So
you have a bunch of worst quarterbacks in your division. They're all in this division.
Point number 1. Trevor's fine. We saw it in the scrambles. Obviously not changing. Somebody brought that up in the Discord. They said it was a straight line run. Yeah, you don't want to be cutting on that. Obviously that knee with the big old brace, but he looks fine as far as planting and throwing. I would be blitzing the ever-living piss out of him. Number 1, because he can't cover anyway. Put your guys in man coverage and let them deal with it because the zone's not working.
Honestly, the short passing game has never really felt all that crisp for the Jags.
No, let them try that underneath shit.
Yeah, it hasn't been all that crisp. And honestly, like, how many targets does Agnew have so far, and why are we still doing this? Is this really just like the fact that Zay Jones is unavailable? We got to get Jamal Agnew 6 targets so far. What? All right. I mean, I can't laud Doug Peterson and then come at him for this, I guess. Trevor Lawrence does look fine, but the Jags offense is still like makes these really weird mistakes. I will say that the offensive line for the Jags is playing very well so far. I don't think Trevor Lawrence has been touched. I haven't really looked at a QB hits chart lately, but the Saints have not sacked Trevor Lawrence tonight. And the Saints have a bad pass rush, so it's not shocking.
I haven't heard he's been ruled in. It didn't look great. I don't think he plays the rest of the day. So I think we've solved we've solved the Agnew stuff. He was the returner on that punt where
where he got cleaned.
I'm gonna give that guy's credit. I think he threw the guy. He kind of said, I can let this guy who's trying to block me run into his own man here. Like he seemed to know what he was doing with that. That was maybe
you're talking about the Saints guy. You're talking about the Saints special teamer.
Yeah.
I was more than that. He led him
into it.
Yeah, he drug him into him. Yeah, no question. Like that was a very heads up play by the Saints gunner. Really,
honestly,
really,
and I on the fumble,
but it's just absurd that is somehow slipped through the competition committee fingers when we saw it a couple times last year, and it's just such a clearly patently unfair football play. Like, why is this allowed? This is absolutely
not
ridiculous.
Only that, the fact that somebody got injured on it might bring it to light.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Secondarily,
we care about player safety, Andy. That's all.
I went back
and
watched. I went and watched the first turnover as well.
Yeah.
It really seemed like he could have gotten to him earlier, let him get up so he could take a swat at that ball. It's not hard to tackle a guy right as they're getting up. Like, I think, like, hey, I can let this guy up and just tackle him.
Let's get him, and then we'll punch.
Punch at that ball. I really think, some heady plays.
He didn't touch him on the ground. They punched it when he got up. I agree with that. And also, you know what else he did after he punched it? Then he landed on him, and he made sure he couldn't recover it. Because you saw Christian Kirk immediately reach for it, and he couldn't get there. He couldn't get there because he was pinned to the ground. I think that was Paulson Adebo. Yeah. Whatever. Paulson A. That was a really heads up play by him. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Saints. I mean, the Saints have some good players. They're just poorly coached, and this quarterback stinks.
Of course Marshall scored. Those sons of bitches.
Oh, no. How much time is left?
There's 10:42 on the clock. It's 20-9 in that one. 35-10 in the Rice game. 17-6. So I did take some under position in this. Worst case scenario for me was. I mean, the best case was probably really injured Lawrence. Next best case is CJ. Worst case is Trevor looking fine.
Just fine.
So I'm getting the worst case scenario. That said,
let's take some under.
It's only 43. It's only 43 and a half right now.
Yeah, let's take some under.
Like, essentially, I want to find a way to fade the Saints. This offense is not cooking. They've run basically the same play over and over, these little short things. Kamara doesn't seem to have that pop right now. If you played his receptions over, you got there by like 10 minutes left. But my goodness, he just doesn't have any speed after he gets that ball.
Mm-hmm.
They seem a little more aggressive on fourth down. So I'm fine fading the Saints. And if you want to do it with an under, I'm there for you.
Okay. I think that's where we go. I would have leaned Jags on the side at 19.5. I think this is under. I'm also counting a little bit on. There's a possibility that the Jags run out of gas here just because this was a weird spot for them, you know? Like, I'm not saying they're going to run out of gas to the tune that they lose this game, but I don't think it's over. This could end 20-17, what would be how would it get to 20-17? Let me try to do the math. If the Jags could score just like 3 points left here, and then a touchdown and a 2-point conversion for the Saints
point, down,
14, and then
down by
field
14.
Goal.
You would try maybe Dennis Allen would try the 2-pointer there, and you end up at 20-17. Yeah, Chip cheering a chance on the full game under. I like the second half under. I like the Saints to do poorly. If I had to take a side, it would be Jags, probably money line. I just kind of fade the Jags and how poorly they've looked on offense. I'm not super confident that what they have for the brain trust there offensively is able to go into the locker room and just kind of fix what they're doing, especially with even if they do move the ball.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's like, oh, this team has just been really unlucky over a big sample size in the red zone. Like if you watch the Saints team when they get in the red zone, because I caught a little of it the other week.
Yeah.
Like it is just a markedly bad, poorly called offense once they get in the red zone. When they're in there, they just I don't know. The play calling has been rough. And honestly, kudos to the Jags too. Both teams have had some nice kind of pass breakups. They are letting maybe another little benefit for the under. They are letting them get away with a little bit of
that's true.
When you watch it in slow motion, none of those have been like, oh, they should have called that. But they're all close enough where it's like they could have called any of those, it feels like. Because in normal game conditions, there's always calls where it's like, oh, that wasn't DPI. He was there, right when the ball got there. What are we doing? So the fact that they're kind of leaving those tweener calls alone makes me feel good.
Yeah,
it is the fleur de lis.
Yeah, the fleur de lis. Even in French, you don't pronounce the S.
I say the S because I'm from Minnesota.
Fleur de lis.
Fleur de lis.
Fleur de lis. Fleur de lis is the emblem. It is French in origin, which is because of the French history of the city of New Orleans. Rich history. Oldest bar in the world, or oldest bar in the U.S., I guess. Oldest bar in the U.S., Lafitte's in the French Quarter there. That's a fun time. New Orleans is a fun city in general. I've had an amazingly good time every time I've been. Barry took the Jags. Okay.
Kieran took the Jags.
It's like I haven't played in London twice, and then home, and then travel in a short week. Like I'm nervous that the Jags are going to run out of gas here. I definitely don't.
It is still a Thursday. Yeah. So I bought something. What were they? Oyster crackers. I need some expertise, maybe some geography expertise. It said Cajun Creole. That was the flavor. Those are these spicy oyster crackers. They're so good. Aren't those just two things? Like, aren't Cajun and Creole two different?
Is that a double entendre? No,
yeah. Where
is it like, redundant? Is that redundant? Is that what you mean?
Not redundant, but is it just saying like this is Polish German or something? I feel like you could be Cajun, you can be Creole. Maybe they're the same thing. Maybe it is a little bit, and then
we're gonna need a local.
Either way, it felt dumb.
Yeah.
We need a local.
I can tell you, Cajun food is typically spicier than Creole food. It tends to also contain more pork and crawfish. Creole food utilizes more ingredients like tomato, shrimp, oysters, and crab. Other than that, I don't really know. They are two different. They are two different cuisines, though.
That's what I'm saying. It was like it's like two different things. You can't be both. The profit exchange prop for this one was Ridley versus Olave. Yeah, I was going to say.
Let me ask you actually about
Olave
this.
has 17 receiving yards.
He's been targeted 7 times. Like they're trying to get the ball to him. I mean, not really as often as they're trying to get the ball to Kamara, because why not? I guess even though he is negative EPA per play on the season for times he's in the times he's been targeted, which is amazing. But like, what is your read on why they can't connect with Olave? I haven't been paying close enough attention, honestly. Watched too much baseball. Keep an eye on Marshall.
I feel like they targeted him on the end. That was probably the end zone play where there was some good coverage. I think he's just been kind of the recipient of a few spots where there actually was some tight coverage.
I'm going to go make a Sazerac after this. What a call. Sazerac season. Yeah. I mean, anything that's kind of like that bridge to dark liquor season, which Sazerac absolutely qualifies. That's a winner. A little absinthe, a little licorice flavor this time of year. That's a good flavor profile right now.
It is. Yeah, Ridley has none. So in that, I didn't catch what the closing price on that was. But
anise, yeah. Somebody played. What is something going on with Ridley? Because there was a little bit of sharp action I saw in some accounts on Ridley. Under. Was that a known thing that he wasn't going to be a factor in this game?
Maybe they just assumed he would match up on Lattimore.
And Lattimore's,
and you just have a shutdown, and maybe the team just says that's fine, keep him over there. We have Kirk, we have Zay, we have Ingram, we have running backs that can make this happen.
Do you happen to know a good live tracker for routes run or snaps? I don't know, because like I only ever can get that off Pro Football Reference after the game's over.
Let me check. I have a place where I get that, but I don't know if it does it live, man.
Yeah,
that's a little bit tougher.
If anyone has a tip for a place to get live routes run or live snaps, which are kind of next gen snap, next gen stats, I'd love to know.
A lot of that is just because it's so much of that is hand charted. It's hard to get that live. I feel like
Nathan Jenke. Let me go look him up.
Oh, I'm on the wrong. I have a data folder with all these websites where it's like there's a million things, and I use this website for the one thing to go pull this stat. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can pull up any Saints on this one. Hey, look at that. Olave caught a ball.
Huh. Well, I guess here's the you mentioned that the hat tip to the Jags defense so far.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of, did something happen to Ridley? Did something happen to Trayvon Walker? Or is he still playing football? The first overall pick from the draft a year ago.
Yeah, he's just maybe not as good as they thought he might be. He's out there. He's another one
he's
too.
playing, right? He's playing.
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah, he has a tackle.
Yeah. Okay. Because I haven't heard his number called. It's been a weird year two for him, because the entire discussion about the Jags defense living up to, or just in general being better than being good enough to elevate this team to AFC contender status was him making some sort of leap and really kind of bringing the whole unit up with him. And it's almost like the unit is succeeding in spite of him not making that leap. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like we thought it would be based around him taking so he's getting 53 snaps a game. That's about 82% of the defensive snaps.
Damn.
And he is.
So first of all, I got to give a thank you to Dustin Flesh. I found this Nathan Janke. Calvin Ridley ran 22 routes in the first half and was targeted 0 times. So he is on full-on decoy.
Let's give it a soft J.
Yankee?
I don't know. Maybe that looks maybe a little.
I'm gonna,
short.
you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna go Janke.
Janke.
Janke. JAH. So
I complained about not getting
Yankees win. What?
I complained about not getting alt overs in this baseball game. It'll be funny if this is the final.
7.
I do need to mention because we forgot about it last night, but we have a good primetime game coming up on Sunday.
Sure.
Obviously. And with our friends over there at Profit Exchange, we put a market up for that one too. And it's kind of like the rushing plus receiving, except for quarterbacks, because you have Tua throws a lot of touchdowns. Jalen is a crazy short yardage threat. So I went just straight up touchdowns, Tua versus Jalen, but included passing and rushing. So it's any scoring by those two. So that market should be up there. I don't know if you had a price on that off the top of your head, who do you favor?
Can you repeat the setup again?
Tua versus Jalen, total touchdowns, throwing, passing, throwing, receiving if you want, if you think they catch one.
I mean, it's unlikely. It should be about minus 135, plus 135 in favor of Hurts.
I think because he just runs so many damn in.
Yeah. I mean, the touchdown production so far for it is pronounced Yankee. Okay. And he's a PFF guy. Yeah. No. Everybody knows Nathan Yankee except
just like
why didn't anyone tell me that Nathan Yankee is doing this? Thank you. I mean, I appreciate you guys telling me now.
Is he just posting it on his Twitter? Does he have a website?
Yeah, right at halftime. He Jacksonville Jaguars snap counts. Ridley he was 30 snaps, 22 routes run, 0 targets, 0 carries. Chris Olave ran 23 routes, 6 targets, 0 carries. So a little bit of a disagreement there in the first half relative to what ESPN was saying, but not a big one.
Do you think anyone
Saints
would
are
ever?
Pretty good. Nice field. The Saints have been in desperation mode, man, going for it on fourth downs a lot in this game. Like it's been pretty clear that they know that they need to win this one, or at least need to be competitive in this one to keep the locker room together. Maybe could have gotten a face mask ball there, but didn't.
Yeah, the running plays by. I know you can't do it over and over and over, but I don't know how many of these run plays have you seen by Taysom Hill that aren't at least somewhat successful? It seems like everybody on the field knows, everyone in the stadium knows it's going to be a run play, and it still works. I need to go look at like what his average is for the season. I feel like he's just good for 5 a pop no matter what. Some team is going to just say, fuck it in this game. We are going to, if we see him come in the game, we're going to stack the box and he is going to throw one over the top. But until that happens, I don't think you need to respect like him as a passer. What do you think we got for a penalty?
Probably against the Jags. It feels like the refs want to make this a competitive game. There's been a very, very, very soft hand in these Amazon games to make it a very soft on all of them. This was a hold on the Saints, though. So, what do you? Bummer. Shoot.
Scratch that. Edit that.
It was on Dan. Pete. You know what I will say though. I got to give the Saints replacement tackles credit for their performance so far tonight, outside of this one holding call, because they've done their job well. And that was actually
is better.
That was kind
of Penning. Man.
That was kind of ticky tack, man. And that was actually one of the funny things. Like, you saw the market moved Saints and over this morning, and it was like confusing as to, well, how does that make sense? And it was exactly timed with the move, the news that Penning was not getting the start and that they were going to elevate a practice squad guy. Was somebody betting Saints over on that because of the fact that Penning wasn't going to be out there?
But I looked at that, and Penning was
he that much of a minus?
He was truly awful.
But
like, it's been rough. I did go on PFF, because you know how you can look at snap counts at position, and then you can change it to, like, give me detail, and I go Anders Pete 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019. I keep looking, and it's just, they turned him into an all-pro guard. Like, he's very good.
Yes.
2017 was the last time he took more than, like, there was a couple games where I think he took 4 or 5 snaps at tackle, probably as an emergency spot.
Yep.
But I mean, 2017 since he's played tackle, and he's holding up pretty decent.
I think he's a good player. Yeah. He's oft injured. I mean, that's maybe one criticism you can make. So much for urgency on the part of the Saints. They just conceded a field goal before they, without even.
That was a bad third down play.
Okay.
Look at this. Somebody did the math for me.
Wow.
Taysom, 5.1 per carry. I know it's not a big sample, but Christ, he's successful.
I mean,
I agree, Matt Ryan.
Why don't they just build the whole plane out of Taysom Hill, man?
So I'm saying that probably wasn't a hold. I thought that was a good play by him.
I didn't.
It's really, crazy. Like, Penning came with baggage too. You had to.
I know it.
Like, you had to have really liked him, because when there's a guy that comes with a little baggage like he did, you have to. There has to be like, oh, we like him so much it doesn't matter, because they used a first round pick on him, and he came as a guy that's like, hey, this guy's probably going to be good for a few unsportsmanlike penalties, a season. He might be a little bit of a problem. He might not get along with the team. Like, he has an attitude.
He might consistently get in fights in practice.
Yeah, like, what was that?
Which he did. Camp? Yeah.
Right away as a rookie, he's like getting in fights. So that's crazy that it turned out the red flag wasn't any of those things. It's that he sucked.
It's that he can't play in the NFL. The other funny thing is, they took him ahead of Tyler Smith who went next off the board for the Cowboys, who looks like a future. He looks like a future All-Pro.
I have a love-hate.
Sorry. Anyway. Yeah.
So I hate what you just did, Drew.
Yeah, I know, because it's the best, though. It's the best. When somebody makes a terrible swing, and you're like, who was the next that they could have had? Oh, a future All-Pro.
Always go look. It's such a thing. It's such a putz move by us to bring that up.
It's such a shit move. Oh, of course. You know what it's akin to, which I absolutely do hate and will never do, is that when a coach goes for it on 4th down, or like goes for the two, when they go for it on 4th down and they don't get it, and then that gives you an opportunity to tee off on the coach for a bad decision.
That's an Aikman move.
This is hindsight bias in like you are defining hindsight bias here. And I think it's fair to say these were the choices, and your process led you to make the wrong choice. Clearly the wrong choice. Like, I think that's not crazy, right? Like, the Eagles' process in evaluating wide receivers in the 2020 draft led them to take Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson, when every draft evaluator on earth had Jefferson as the 4th best wide receiver in that draft, not the 5th.
What was last year, knowing where Brady was in his, career, getting towards the end, what were the Tampa Bay Bucks thinking at pick 106, taking K. Dotton when Purdy's on the board?
Purdy's right there. He's right there. You got your answer at quarterback for the next 100 years.
I don't like. There's a bunch. I could do this all day with teams. Like, honestly, if the Commanders took Sam Howell, that one isn't nearly as funny, because he actually did take a quarterback.
They took him in what, 5th round? Was that a 5th round?
Man, Atlanta got Tyler Algier in the 5th round. That was a good one.
I mean,
you 2 picks later, Tariq Woolen.
Yeah, you want to go a little bit out of the box.
2 picks later.
Yeah.
or 3 Jerome Ford.
Yeah.
Not bad player.
The Panthers traded up to take Matt Carroll, right?
Matt Corral,
Matthew Carroll.
Meth Corral.
Matthew Carroll, yeah. Which the book was out that he was probably not going to make it in the NFL. And then had to trade up again the next year for another quarterback. They had just stayed put and taken Brock Purdy.
Your quarterback.
Yeah. Then
I don't think it's one of those where it's like, I just want him to be in the race in the last few weeks. So I can just get excited. Like, I got a 20-1 ticket. I'm going to watch every Texans game.
Yeah.
And hope
you said 80, right?
Their ankle.
You said 80, right?
80 on
yeah.
Rice.
Have you ever hit a 80-1 or better on anything like exotic like that?
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't my origination thing. I had Burrow Heisman at a couple big numbers.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. I didn't get as big a number as you guys did. I think I got that at like around week 2. Did you get any of the Marcus Smart Defensive Player of the Year in the 201 range? Were you on that train?
I wasn't early on that one either. That was one of those too where so I did bet that at sportsbook.ag, which is a book nobody can sign up for. It's a weird anomaly in the offshore world, but they have a cash out button. And every week that Burrow number would get a little bigger, a little bigger, a little bigger. And I said, I'm going to cash out before the Bama game. And I've told this story. A lot of you've heard this. And then I get to it that week and the button's gone. Like, oh, shit. And I looked at like which players I should take to hedge it. And it's like golf. You can't really hedge unless there's a no market. So I said,
was it Fields? Fields was kind of in the mix. I don't even remember who else was in the mix. I have to
think who else was in the mix. I feel like there were obviously some Bama players. I think the Bama quarterback, Bama receiver, probably
Tua might have been in the mix.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, all right.
But yeah, no, it was one of those where it's like, oh, jokes on you guys. I was gonna catch that out for like basically 20 or 30-1, I think is what.
They're just showing shots of Ridley on the sideline, so he may be done running routes for the night and have his 0 target, 0 catch, and fantasy managers up in arms all over the space. Yeah, anger. Rage.
I know somebody asked me, our guy Pete in the tennis chat asked me who he should start at running back in a dynasty league. I'm like, man, I am not the guy. Not that guy, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess a running back probably.
It was Kamara. He has Williams on his bench too, though. I'm like, oh, that's the guy that's going to take the touchdown. It was Kamara, Zeke, or Justice Hill. I'm like, man, I don't know. Hopefully it's PPR because I told him to start Kamara.
Ridley wearing 0 for the number of targets he's getting. That's very good. Benson's on fire tonight. The Travis Etienne getting an extra 4 yards after carry is pretty wild for the Jags. Although I don't love the mentality of, I guess it's 3rd and long. Let's just hand it off to Travis.
He's been pretty good.
You got them close enough that they should probably just sneak it, but do they have the guts to do it with Trevor and the injured knee? The answer is no.
You don't tush push when you got a brace on.
No. Do you put Beathard? Has Beathard been practicing the tush push all week?
Oh, no? do you do the Andy Dalton where you bring in the other guy?
Taysom Hill. You do Taysom Hill where you direct snap to your Swiss Army knife.
Well, I doubt he would do that for the Jags.
Yeah.
He's on the other team.
Yeah.
But he is their Beathard. Saints are within 3 field goals, Patrick. The Jag drag. Yeah, you put somebody in front of him, throw him over the line.
Oh,
do you remember that Reddit thread that started with like, could you got to be politically correct because I'm 100% sure they did not say they did not use the word little person. They said basically like, could you give a little person the ball and then 2 people just throw them over, which seems dangerous as well for that individual. You could land on your head. You can't put your arms out really to break it. You got to hold on to the ball.
Yeah,
I think there was a rule against this. Yeah, Maurice Jones-Drew, you could probably toss that guy. Some of these punters are pretty small. Like as far as weight, you could curl up in a ball. We're gonna throw you.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, like the fact that nobody's employed the Fosbury flop high jump maneuver is weird. You know, like get a guy running down the line, hand it to him, and Fosbury flop over the pile. You could probably get in untouched.
My gym teacher in high school, shout out Mr. in elementary school, shout out Mr. Metcalf, was obsessed. But like he turned that into like a 20-minute lecture when we did, elementary track and field. We had to learn all about the Western roll was, the like I still remember all
the scissor. There's the scissor high jump.
The scissors. The Western roll was very popular, but along came this fella named Fosbury, and like we're supposed to be doing gym stuff. We're sitting here learning like the history of track and field from this guy forever. But I mean, it was innovative and it was huge. I mean, everyone uses it now. I mean, how many years later?
Dick Fosbury was the original disruptor of the high jump space. Yeah. That was pretty wild. That was 1968 Summer Olympics in Mexico City, by the way, if you didn't already know.
At altitude.
Yeah, he won gold there representing the United States. Pretty wild. Oh, Dick Fosbury died this year. I didn't even know. No one told me.
We're dedicating this week to Dick Fosbury.
This halftime pod dedicated to the memory of Dick Fosbury. We remember you, Dick.
Innovator.
Yeah.
I kind of want to watch Chariots of Fire now. Different kind of vibe, but I do like in a sports movie.
I love it, man. All right, you ready to wrap?
Yeah, I'm gonna call it a week. I'll catch you guys on Sunday night for the halftime of what hopefully is a really fun game. I'm going to be sad, not just because I did bet some first half and full game over in that, but I'm going to be really sad if that game sucks because I have high expectations in a week where there's a lot of teabag versus AOC kind of games. I mean, there's a couple of games.
Yeah, there's a lot of teabags. Yeah, there's a lot of teabags out there.
A couple of games aren't even very good. So I really need that one to kind of have some fireworks. Even if it's just big fun plays, on defense or something. Give me anything. Let's not get political. I have to tell you something off the air about that. It's not even bad. But yeah, let's call it a week. I'll catch you guys on Sunday.
Good work.